So, Niku Namasmaran Prabhu has suggested me a topic about 24 gurus from Bhagavatam. That's one topic, and I can be very happy to speak. But is there any specific topic or theme or thing that you would like to hear?
Yeah, good with your choice.
All right, so that's Niku's choice. So let's do that.
Let's do that.
So here is the scene. Lord Krishna, he came to the earth 125 years ago. He was the supreme absolute truth. His mission was to destroy the demons and the burden of the earth, and that many of the kings were posing as, demons were posing as king and thus causing havoc on the earth. His mission, he came, he created the Mahabharata war so that the 3.9 million soldiers on either side were killed. When Lord Krishna was about to leave this earth, he had completed his mission for what he came for. And at that time, he was living in Dwaraka. He had 16,108 wives. And Bhagavatam says that each of them had 10 children. Each wife had 10 sons. And he realized that his own family has become enormous. And the Lord completed his mission, and he was ready to leave this planet, where Uddhava comes and asks him a question, which is called Uddhava Gita. So that is the scene that is set. And the way we read Bhagavatam is that, if that's okay, I'll do the Sanskrit. You all can do the Sanskrit. And then we go around the room just doing the translations. So the 7th chapter. So let us go. Also, before we chant Bhagavatam, usually we repeat the mantra, if that's okay with you. Yes, please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So, just before the chapter begins, Uddhava was a cousin of Lord Krishna. He was a confidant. He was extremely close to the Lord. And when Krishna was about to depart from this earth, Uddhava comes and approaches him, saying that, my Lord, we are leaving this earth and have some few questions and we want to take some instructions. So we'll start from text 1 of 7th chapter, 11th canto. Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Yada.
Prabhuji wants to. So we go to advanced view, Prabhuji.
So, yes. And then we can go up a little bit. Okay, remove the chapter description. Click on the chapter description on the top. Remove that. Okay, then synonyms, please. Then we can remove purport. Good. So we do have just the translation and Devanagari for those. We have that and Devanagari also. So we go up. Devanagari. What is Devanagari?
Yeah, it's there, but I don't know why it's not showing up.
It's okay. Fine.
Yeah, this
is fine.
Yeah.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Yada tamam mahabhaga.
Yada tamam mahabhaga.
Tatchikirshitamev me.
Tatchikirshitamev me.
Brahma bhavo lokapala.
Brahma bhavo lokapala.
Svarvasam me abhikankshinah.
Sarvasam me abhikankshinah.
So the young adults can take the mic and start with the translation. Good.
Start from Amol.
Oh, about what?
I'm on
And
you
just
read
read
this
this.
translation.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna do like
Good job.
I don't know what's happening. I'm sorry.
No worries.
No, just read this.
Alright, I got it. It's okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O greatly fortunate Uddhava, you have accurately revealed my desire to withdraw the Yadu dynasty from the earth and return to my own abode in Vaikuntha. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and all other planetary rulers are now praying for me to resume my residence in Vaikuntha.
Text 2. Maya nishpiritam yatra.
Maya nishpiritam yatra.
Devakaryam aseshatah.
Devakaryam aseshatah.
Yadartam avatirnoham.
Yadartham avatirnoham.
Amshena brahmanatitah.
Amshena brahmanatitah.
Answering the prayer of Lord Brahma.
You can give them.
Answering the prayer of Lord Brahma, I descended within this world along my plenary portion, Lord Baldeva, and performed various activities on behalf of the demigods. I have now completed my mission here.
Thank you. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita the very famous verse, Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya dharma samsthapanarthaya samstamaya. So Krishna says that wherever there is a decline in religion and there is increase in religion and decline in religion of dharma, Krishna says that he comes. Because if there is no concept of God, the world seems a crazy place. Think about it. People who have no scruples or morals, people who are, greed is good kind of thing, philosophy goes on in this world, and people get attracted to that, but not realizing the fact that, all these things actually zap the human condition of society. And as more and more these kind of negative trends prevail in society, the society is irreversibly drawn to irreligion. And then Krishna says, when it reaches to such a point, I come to re-establish again the dharma. So Krishna is saying, I did my work and now I'm going back. Yeah, that's where we are at. Next 3. Kulam Vaishapa Nirdagdam.
Kulam Vaishapa Nirdagdam.
Nankam Nangshatyanyonyo vigraha Samudra saptame hyenam Purincha plavashishyati.
Now, due to the Brahmana's curse, the Yadu dynasty will certainly perish by fighting amongst themselves, and on the seventh day from today, the ocean will rise up and inundate the city of Dwarka.
So even today in the modern world, I think scientists are doing a lot of experiments and trying to find the city that is lost in the sea, right? They are doing many experiments and taking things. So Krishna predicted that on the seventh day from today, the ocean will arise and it will inundate Dwarka. Now the curse of Brahmana was something like this. The boys of Yadu dynasty, they approached powerful sages, and one of the boy dressed as a girl, and that person put like a iron lump in the belly in form of the baby, and dressed up as a pregnant girl. They approached the sages. He asked, "Oh sage, please tell me whether this young lady is going to have a boy or a girl." And the sages, being all-knowing seers, they could understand that they were being tricked. And they cursed, "Oh fools, you have no idea, but this, the lump of iron that you are carrying is going to destroy the Yadu dynasty." And all the boys became really afraid, and they went to Krishna, and they said, this is what happened, and we just tricked him, and this is the consequence. So that's where Krishna is saying that by the curse of Yadu dynasty, the Yadus will be destroyed by infighting among themselves. Please raise your hands at any point if you have questions.
Is that not the Sam?
Sam was
Sam,
there.
right? Sam was the one who.
And Durvasa was the
this
Rishi.
one, right?
Yeah.
And Durvasa, and Sam was Krishna's son.
Samba?
Sam,
Sam, the son of Krishna.
son of Krishna.
Son of Krishna.
He was carrying this one, and he did this mischief.
Yes. It's there in the first chapter also.
Right.
Other questions? All good? Text 4. Yarhevayam maya tyakto lokoyam nashtamangalaha Bhavishyatya chirat sadho kalinapi nirakritah.
O sanity Uddhava, in the near future I will abandon this earth. Then, being overwhelmed by the age of Kali, the earth will be bereft of all pity.
So, when Krishna was present, he pursued, as I mentioned earlier, Dharma Samsthapanarthaya, Sambhavami Yudhi. And as Krishna was there on this earth, Dharma was perfectly established. And now Krishna himself is saying, now when I leave the earth, the Kali Yuga will overflow. And for those, I have a question. So, before Kali Yuga, what Yuga comes? Okay. Good guess. Dwapara. Before Dwapara, what? Treta. Before that?
Satya.
So we hear in our Puranas that the sage performed austerities for 30,000 years, and it will be like it's all mythology. I don't believe it. But please understand that in Satya Yuga, the lifespan was 100,000 years. So when they performed 20,000 years, it's like I asked Amol, how many years of education? It's like 20 years. 20 years is like what, 1/5 of your lifespan, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes. So for them, it was how many years of austerity did you 20,000? It was just 1/5 of their lifespan.
Yes, it's possible. Right?
It's very much possible because the lifespan was really long. And and Satya Yuga, people were perfect. There was no vice. There was no truthfulness. There was no not untruthfulness. There was no. Everybody was perfect in the sense like they were very very saintly in their behavior and approach. Even today, we hear rarely, but in some cases, person says in the village, I never lock my doors.
Yeah.
The door is open, like I have that. So, kind of Satya Yuga was like that. But then, next Yuga from Satya is Treta.
Treta.
Treta, the lifespan reduced by a factor of 10, which is 10,000 years. And then at that time, in Satya Yuga, the way to perform one's spiritual practices were through meditation. You go to the forest and perform long meditation. In Treta, that kind of became the performance of sacrifice. People would perform like very gorgeous sacrifices, the Havan people do with mantras and so on and so forth. That was the way of realizing or achieving self-realization in the age of Treta. Dwapara Yuga, the lifespan reduced by a factor of 10, which is 1,000 years. Because we hear that Krishna lived for a lifespan of 125 years. Now we will come to that point why only 125 years when the lifespan at that time was 1,000. And then Kali Yuga, the lifespan is again reduced by a factor of 10, which is
100 years.
if you're lucky. See, if you live for 100 years and more than that, people will chase you. Newspaper wala will chase you. Okay, what is the secret of your long life? And that person says, I never took stress, or I did this, I did that, whatever. Yes or yes. And you go into Guinness Books of World Record. I think in some country, I don't know which country, some European country, if you go beyond 100, the government will give you a plaque and they will give you some money or something. This is Kali Yuga, where 100 years is like, you are a lucky person if you live for 100 years. And given the medical maladies that are going around, people are saying that I don't want 100 years. I just want to get out without being dependent on anybody. This is Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, where lifespan is super short, where there is so much of agitation. At small reasons, there is constant fight. Fight amongst the family members, fight among the societies, fight among countries. There is no peace. And even just to maintain one's life is such a hard struggle. Yes, yes. This is Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is where neither the governments are truthful, nor are they. In Vedas it's mentioned the prime duty of a government is to protect the citizens. With the democratic systems, they are so busy trying to find their own, cling on to the seat that they barely have time for people. Somehow or other, you have to appease the self-interest people. Then you need money for running, and then rich people will give you money. And then when you get into power, first what do? You take care of people? No, you take care of the people who give you money.
The donors. Yeah. The donors.
Yeah.
The donors, the fundraisers. So where is the people situation? Right? This is Kali Yuga is such a topsy-turvy age. This is just the nature of the Kali Yuga. So if you feel harassed, you feel stressed out, if you feel depressed in life, like why do I live? This is not just about you, but just the basic humanity, the basic integrity, the basic decency is day by day getting destroyed in society. And it's true across the world. I'm not pointing to a singular community, a singular race, a singular nationality or community. The Kali Yuga is such it degrades. In fact, if you want, we can do a little bit of introduction to Kali Yuga, but I don't want to scare you too much. But let's continue. Any questions, comments? All right, let's just keep continuing because we haven't reached to the main verse yet. Text 5. Navatsavya tvayaiveha
Namastavyam Tvareveya
Mayatyakte mahitale
Mayatate Mahitale
Jano Bhadra Ruchirbhadra
Jano Bhadra Ruchibhadra
Bhavishyati Kalau Yuge
Bhavishyati Kalau Yuge.
Right. Anybody can, yeah, just keep on reading it. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
No, it's on. My dear Uddhava, you should not remain here on the earth once I have abandoned this world. My dear devotee, you are sinless, but in Kali Yuga, the people will be addicted to all types of sinful activities and therefore do not stay here.
Tvam tu sarvam parityajya sneham svajana bandhushu Mayyavesha manah samya samadrik vicharasvagam.
Now you should completely give up all attachment to your personal friends and relations and fix your mind on me. Thus, being always conscious of me, you should observe all things with equal vision and wander throughout the world.
Thank you. Text 7. Yadidam manasa vacha Chakshurbyam shravanadibihi Nashvaram grihyamanam cha Vidhi maya manomayam
My dear Peter, material universe that you perceive through your mind, speech, eyes, ears, and other senses is an illusory creation that one imagines to be real due to the influence of Maya. In fact, you should know that all of the objects of the material senses are temporary.
So this needs a little bit of explanation. I'll pick on Nihal, because he's my friend. So the exam is going to come, and it's really a serious exam, AP exam, whatever. I have not so. Goes to his mother and he says, the exam paper and what I see is just merely an illusion. Because I read this class, in Bhagavatam it is mentioned, this is all an illusion. Why should I write the exam? The world is an illusion, the life is an illusion, teachers are an illusion. Because Krishna is saying this, and how do you balance these two? Because it's an important aspect that we need to learn. Otherwise, you tend to go on this direction, like fully absorb the matter and get the resultant negative reactions, or you fully go to this, why even live? For what purpose am I living? It can go to extreme ends. In fact, while it is true, the nature of the world is temporary, and it's a fact. We all are going through phase of time, correct? Like Amol, you realized when you were 5 years old, but you no longer have that body.
No.
I remember when I was 35 years old, I no longer have that body, because that body is constantly changing. So, and what about things? You thought, US, the gas prices will never go beyond $1.02. Or, things will remain the same, but nature has this constant churn, and that kind of confuses us. Right? You want stability in life, yes or yes?
Yes.
But the thing is, since the world is constantly changing, how do you find stability? And what part of you yearns for stability? Because people say, Yeah, soul, this God, this Gita and all this mythology. This is kuch nahi hai, bakwas. Just live your life. The kids, YOLO.
YOLO.
YOLO. Kids, yahi bolo.
YOLO.
Because my daughter is 9th grade, so she came and she said, YOLO. I said, what is YOLO? You only live once. Because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the very first lesson he says is that we are Atma, and this body that we have is like a dress that covers the Atma.
Mhm.
Because question I ask now, I put it YOLO and then I put the karma concept. Karma, everybody knows, yes or yes. Even anybody in the US, all over the world. Well, what is karma? I'm sorry, what's your name again?
Shivani.
Shivani, thank you. Shivani and
Ashka.
Huh?
Ashka.
Ashka, thank you. Okay, I got confused. You look similar. I mean, with the hairstyles at least.
A lot of us are cousins here. We're cousins, they're cousins, I'm cousins.
There you go.
Lots of, we all look the same.
Shivani, what's the definition of karma? Popular definition of karma.
Basically, if you do something bad to someone, right, bad will happen to you.
Good too.
Good too. What was
Well,
it?
yes, but most people, when I think of karma, I'm like, okay, if someone does something bad to someone, then something bad will happen to them. Good karma is real too. My mom always says that. But when I think of karma, I usually think of something bad.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then the other definition is what goes around?
Comes around.
Yeah.
But then, juxtapose it with YOLO. What goes around comes around, but I am not there when it comes around. So, yes or no? I mean, it has become so degraded. The people are not saying crime is bad. Getting caught is bad. Right? The problem is, okay, thank you.
Very good.
So, I have a simple proposition. Here is my proposition. All the hardcore criminals must be released from the prison immediately, and justice system should not be there in this country.
No, why?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you asked. Okay, how many unsolved crimes are there?
Quite a few.
So basically, if our yardstick of crime is do crime but don't get caught, then millions of people are not getting caught, and unfortunate few are getting caught and are in the prison. So this is unfair. So everybody release them. See my logic?
Yes.
Very convoluted, perverted, dirty logic, but nevertheless it's logic. Because this is a frustrating thing. Why is it, for example, why is it that that this unfairness exists, and who's going to pay? What gives is a bigger question. Please understand that. And then there is a big thing about capital punishment. It should be avoided. It should be eliminated in this country. There are so many things. Justice system is a nuance. If you want to talk about justice system, we can sit all night.
Yeah.
But you have to catch a plane to Hawaii, I believe.
We have a couple of nights before that.
So Krishna says the concept of karma, the Atma is such that if I perform some action, there is no guarantee that I will get reactions in this life. It can happen now, it can happen 10 lives, 1,000,000 lives, 1,000,000,000 lives later, but you will get the reaction. So the problem is, since I don't remember my past birth, people are frustrated. Why are bad things happening to good people? Yes or no?
Yes.
The idea is that there is no guarantee that what I do in this life I'll be getting back this life. It can be multiple lives later. So Shivani, to your question about karma, bad happening, that's not true.
I agree with you.
Tell me one thing. Bill Gates, in 1976, he dropped out of Harvard. And he said, I'll start some stuff. At that time, all his friends and family members must have said, loser. You got into Harvard, you're dropping out, and then, what nonsense. This fellow has no hope in life. But now you can see. So the scriptures say that karma is both good and bad. One more example. If you start a business, will you start and then you are pitching your idea to the investors, to the venture capitalists, saying that this is my great idea. And then so what's your 5-year plan? In 2 years I'll be going bankrupt. That's my plan. Nobody will say that. They will say I'm the next Facebook, Google, I'm next Amazon. Right? Everybody says that. When you get out of the car, when you drive to work or go somewhere in the morning, you don't, shutter door is opening, and you are ready to go take your car back. Do you pray, God, please give me a fatal accident? No, I want to be safe. And then COVID happened. Did anybody say, okay, let me look in the map, see which country has the maximum COVID, let me fly into there because I need COVID. Everybody is like, dude, stay away from me. Right? It's not like people were not aware, it's not people did not have facilities. Even in the US, we had a lot of facilities, lot of social distancing. In India, you were forced. For example, because of the density of population living in urban areas, you are forced to interact with people and you could get it. But US, there is no such rule and restriction. But how many people did get COVID in the US? How many people are dying of fatal accidents? Or how many companies are not going bankrupt? So while nobody wants negative things, they happen in life, our scriptures, that positive things, if they are due to you, you will get. I mean, how many times you said, dude, this guy, I thought he will be good for nothing in life. And look at him now, he's rolling in wealth. How many times did that happen? So then the next question comes is, with this mentality of karma, fatalism comes. Yeah, good and bad, it will come. What should I do? I'll just relax. Karma is going to come. But anyway, I can get into all those nuances. But so far, so good. Questions, comments? So Shivani, if you are supposed to be a multi-billionaire, it will happen to you. And that one thing I want to tell the youth of this generation is that the money is given such a serious emphasis in the society. And please understand, it's the nature of Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, the only success of a person is if you have money. If you have money, you have justice. Think of a poor person who is assigned a public prosecutor who barely will work for him. The prosecutor is not interested in defending that person, and that person rots in the prison. But if you are having serious money, then I will hire a lawyer who is going to charge me $700 per hour or $1,000 per hour, but he'll get me out of the prison. And how many people actually get out? And it's so frustrating because money seems to buy justice. This is the nature of Kali Yuga. So kids, do your best to earn. Do your best to make money. But if you make money as the only criteria in life, then you are into frustration. There you go. To what I hold is pleasure. Thank you for that. Questions, comments? Yeah. And because if your criteria is set like that, then people can't have at least young children, young teenage people can't have the coping mechanism, and they take to so many things to kind of fulfill that kind of need for money and recognition in society, and it's a serious problem. Substance abuse is a serious thing in high schools. Is that okay? Should we continue further?
Yeah.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
I just wanted to ask one question.
Yes, sir.
So because we talked about education. So we talked about education, right? Bill Gates, and then we also talked about money, right? I was thinking about the Queen Kunti's prayers, Janma Ishwarya Shuta Shridi Edhamana Madhapuma, right? So in that verse, from the way we understand it, says, like if you're trying to be materially opulent or advanced, then it says you can never be able to see Krishna, right? But here we are, right? We read this, I'm talking about myself, we read this Bhagavatam verse, right? Why are we like struggling so hard to push our kids to study, go to, good schools and all, right? So somehow I feel like, sometimes we don't implement what I read, at least myself, right? How do I understand that words, Prabhuji? Can you please shed some light?
So for those who are unfamiliar, in Bhagavatam, in the first canto, 8th chapter, there is a prayer by Queen Kunti. And the prayer is Janmaishwarya Shruta Shride Vedamana Madhapuman Naiva Hatya Vijatumvai Mama Kinchana Bocha. In a nutshell, the prayer is that those who have a lot of wealth, those who are tremendously beautiful, those who have high birth and high learning, they might not, have that aptitude for spirituality or that deep eagerness for spirituality or attaining Krishna. And then his question was, if that is the case, then why are we pushing our kids to earn more money or go to better schools or do good in life? That's your question for it. As a parent, it's your duty to do it. Now, whether the children, see, the thing is, we are all artists. We are all part and parcels of God. And somehow, as a family, Krishna has put the family together. If you seriously think about it, what was the wife to the husband or husband to the wife before marriage? But marriage happened, then kids came. So you can see how this whole thing got together, 4 or 5 souls coming together as a family because of Krishna. And when time comes, each soul departs and they go on their own direction. They forget completely that what they were in this life, and they take birth one again in different life, in different family, and this life continues like that. So because one is a parent, one does best for the child. And each soul that comes in, they carry their own past karma. And the parents will try their best, but based on their own past karma, they become really successful or not successful or mediocre. Life continues, goes like that. And at the end of life, we take another body. So giving good education to the kids is good, but more importantly, please give them spiritual values, because they can take the spiritual values in the next life as well. But the education is something that it's only for this life. Is that helpful?
Yes. So we have to do our duties. Is that?
Yeah. And even then, see, the thing is, the child has to go to Harvard. The child will get admission into Harvard. But if the child doesn't have that kind of destiny to go, not to go to Harvard, you try your best, it doesn't happen. Yes or yes? Because nobody says that, what's your aspiration? Because you are going to such a good school, community college. No, everybody says I want a Yale or a Harvard or Stanford or whatever. Not everybody gets it. It's okay. And please, one more thing. Krishna says that this world is a world of duality, which means there will be ups and downs inevitable in this life. If there is hot, there will be cold. If there is health, there will be sickness. If there is youth, there will be old age. If there is prosperity, sometimes there is poverty. It is just the nature of this world. And Krishna is saying that instead of struggling to control this world that is going on its own course, the best way is to spiritually realize oneself. And that way, the human form of life has its value. Assuming the child goes to Stanford, assuming the child becomes another Stanford, Harvard, Yale, I'm not specific to it, and they become multi-billionaire and they earn tremendous amount of money and are success in life. Their fame, their money and everything is again a short-lived thing, and when they leave this body, they leave everything and go behind. So what did the child actually earn in that human form of life, which is like a lottery? Because you may have 10 PhDs and 20 Nobel Prizes, but then in the next life, again, you will start with A, B, C, D, E, F, 1, 2, 3. Completely lost. But Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Neha Vikramanashosti Pratyavayana Vidyate Swalpamapyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahatavayat. He says that this form of yoga, this spirituality that one pursues, there is no loss or diminution. And even a little bit of advancement in this path will save us from the greatest fear. One of the biggest anxieties that is eating the kids these days, it's amazing how, generation after generation, the depression is hitting even younger and younger. In two ages, like 50 years ago, it was the old age that was hitting, because old age was a tough time. The limbs are not working, the organs are failing, you are dependent. It's hard. Krishna is saying it's impossible. But then that age is shifting, and kids are getting depressed, teenagers are in depression. Why? And that too in the United States of America. It's not like you are in a war-ravaged country in Africa where you get up in the morning, have to walk 4 miles to the school and being shot at when you go to the school by what? On barefoot. It's not that situation. Then what is it that's ailing people? That is the lack of spirituality, that the lack of our own awareness and lack of teachings of Gita. And if you get it a little bit, you don't have to do too much. And Krishna is promising that even if, forget 100%, forget 90%, forget 20, forget 10, forget 5. Krishna is saying if you do 0.0001%, that's next life you start from 0.0002%. Otherwise, if you are just striving just for material prosperity, seeing the whole world is doing, just see the whole world is actually struggling. You may be the richest person in the world, but you will buy a social media company, work for 120 hours. Why? It's just the nature of this world. So if you take time to kind of go through Gita, take time to understand, what my position and what this world is, and how can I be, if nothing else, have the inner spiritual strength to deal with these changes of the world that will come. Inevitably they will come. Relationships, jobs, academics. Life is tough. More questions, more comments. Mahaprabhu.
Connected question.
Yes, sir.
So, how does one balance? So, if karma is already fixed in the sense that whatever I have done in my past lives, this is something that I'm going to reap for whatever endeavors I'm putting in. What is the seed for motivation? Like, should I be working hard or should I be working less hard? Should I not be working at all? Because I'm going to get anyways what I'm going to get. So how does one balance motivation?
Do what you need to do to maintain yourself. Do what you need to do to keep yourself healthy, your family healthy. But don't over endeavor. Because we have seen people struggle with career, burning out themselves, working 100 hours a week, and then but they have to pay some price. No time for family, social life 0, health, that's a problem because you barely have time to cook, let alone eat proper food. So then the problem comes is, yes, you earn a lot of money in the process. Karma, okay, I'll come back to your question. First of all, If there is no spirituality or God consciousness, your karma will act and God will just be a judge. Suppose if people go to criminal court, right? Judge, he will say, okay, give this man $10 million because he's, and then he says to someone else, capital punishment, lethal injection. Is the judge getting money when he gives $10 million? No. Or he is getting, no. So God will be like that judge. Okay, you did this, you will get this. I'll just be a witness. I'm not going to interfere with your free will. You do what you need to do. And that karma will keep on continuing in the life. Because you have that, you will take on multiple births, millions of births. It will never get out of this cycle of birth and death. But then if you take to spirituality, slowly then you start burning up karma. If you don't do that, then what's the point in spirituality, right? If you go to the doctor saying you have a serious disease, and the doctor says, take this medicine, but you know what, it'll do no good, it's a placebo. So what's the point in taking that medicine? But the doctor says, no, this medicine will cure your disease, then you'll take this. So yoga process is like that medicine that's going to cure the disease of material existence. So the motivation is actually to maintain myself while pursuing the path of spirituality. If my whole life just becomes, somehow or other I pull through this life thinking that I'm done, then the next life awaits again and again. So, is that helpful?
Can I do a small follow-up?
Yes, please.
So the popular notions that we have in this world about like work hard and you will succeed. Parishram ka phal meetha hota hai. That is that inaccurate in that case? Because it seems like karma is ultimately the deciding factor. So if you, and the reason I also ask the question is because we see, generally speaking, that people who work hard, people who succeed have actually the people who have worked hard. There's a direct correlation between those two things in this world. Whereas there may be people who have succeeded and then may have not worked as hard, but those cases are probably not that frequently seen. There is a very strong correlation between working hard and people getting success. So how do we kind of see that data and also see this verse and make sense out of it? That's where the confusion arrives.
Fair enough. How do you define success? How do you define success?
Success materially, of course.
Material is how? So here is, give me a number. $20 million in the bank will be a good, it's an indicator of success. $10 million, $5 million. What is the indicator of success?
So material success, like for example, if somebody is, okay, sure, it's difficult to objectify or quantify, but it's, if somebody were to ask, is Mark Zuckerberg successful? Then I think the answer is yes, because materially he is wealthy.
Who is?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Okay.
For example, or take any big shot who has made big in Silicon Valley, for that matter, anywhere in the world. And then we ask ourselves, did he work hard? And we read about his life, and it seems like he was a smart guy, but he also worked hard. And therefore, there was this very strong correlation between his working hard and his earning success eventually. It's difficult to find a success story. Well, again, I'm saying success means material success, and I'm actually even narrowing it down to financial success, like materialistic, financial hardcore success. It's difficult to find a story of a wealthy person who has reached that level by not working hard. So, and karma, I'm talking about from the perspective of karma, because karma usually for most people translates into material success. That's how they see a good karma. This person must have had good karma because he's actually having material success. So that's where the confusion arises.
So Mark Zuckerberg is your idea of success?
For the majority of the population in this world, probably.
So his net worth is how much? 165 billion?
In billions for sure.
So if that is the case, then everybody else is a loser. Everybody else is a complete dud. And adding to the insult, they didn't work hard at all. Is that a true statement?
What was the question?
So if Mark Zuckerberg is the idea of success, then everybody else is loser by that standard, and more importantly, everybody didn't work hard.
No, he's not the only person successful. Like he's
So that's where Mahaprabhu, what I'm trying to say is, give me an indicator of success. How do you define success? For some, it could be just
I can tell what is not success. For example,
okay,
people, homeless people on the street, they're clearly not success. Person who could not make it to their dream college is definitely not a success. Somebody who could not pursue their dreams, live the kind of life they are wanting to live, they are not success. So it's easy to probably quantify what is not success. Because,
well, according to you, it's not success. For example, a homeless person might be not feeling that urge. If for him or her, if you find a place to sleep for that night, a good place to have bed and some food, that is success for them. So my point here is, everybody, these ideas of success are generated by the mind. And the mind actually is never, Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, the mind is your worst of your enemy. If you let the mind dictate the idea of success, you'll never be successful.
so then karma basically does not translate into success at all.
Karma translates into success only if God allows you to get that at that point of time.
Okay. So
Please understand, people in fast food chains, they work hard. They work day and night. They have 2 jobs to hold. It's a tough life. And please understand that everybody is put into according to their positions based on their past karma. Did you ever dream of coming to US when we were growing up? No, yet you are here. So if you do your work, and if you are successful by the previous life's activity, you will get the result. That's what I'm trying. Good and bad, both will come. And nobody wants failure, yet everybody is going to fail in this life because the mortality rate is 100%. It is. That is the ultimate. So everybody is set up for a failure in this world if you are not having spiritual realization, because you are going to die and give up everything else. So what's your point of success? If you realize this knowledge, you will spit at the so-called success, because your mind is absorbed in a state of constant anxiety. Mark Zuckerberg is a success. How is a success when he laid off 11,000 employees? When he made such a mistake and played with lives of 11,000 employees, how is it as a criteria of success? It's not a success. You are not even able to maintain your own employees, and why have you?
So what would it mean then if a good karma were to translate into something? I think you give an answer in one way, that you get success at that particular point in time when you are wanting it.
And when you deserve it, when you can, hard work is, if it is hard work, is success, means everybody is working hard in this country and everybody should be successful as a multi-billionaire, but that's not so. It's not so. I mean, you ask any honest, successful person, superstar in sports, you name, Roger Federer, our age, I don't know who's the young players. Ask anyone, did they visualize that they will reach there? And if they are honest, they will say no. Things happen at the right place at the right time. Everybody wants to be that. Everybody starts a company with, as I said, nobody says, in 2 years my plan is to go bankrupt. But how many people are successful and why are they failing? So, and Krishna is saying one more thing. Yes, you work hard. If you are moral, then you get what is due to you. But if you are immoral and if you are unethical, then you will get more money, but that money is going to be a constant sort of anxiety. You can get it. I mean, like, you can say, okay, I'll skim some funds here, I'll get some this here, I'll do all that. But then you are in constant anxiety. I have seen so many people, in India and other places, you are corrupt. You take so much money in kickbacks, but you can't even enjoy that money. You can't even show to the world. Oh, yeah, people, he got a Lamborghini and he's a government clerk. And then IT department. This is and so if you are not, the success in life, Mahaprabhu is to live an honest life of integrity, honest life of whatever profession you are in, Vaishya, a businessman, whatever, lead a life of ethics and honesty, and be advanced spiritually. Materially, it really doesn't matter. I mean, you can tell so many lies, you can cheat so many people, and you can make money. You'll be paying one way or other. It's not YOLO. It's more than YOLO. Because in the next life, you'll be like, oh, that person cheated me. Oh, maybe in the previous life, you cheated that person, and that person came back to cheat. So it's okay. As long Gita teaches us that you are an Atma, if you are contented with what you have, then you'll be happy. I'll tell a small story. Namaskaram, Prabhu. I don't know how much we'll do it or not. Anybody doesn't know Lord Vamana? Okay. Yes, I know. That's why I said. So Krishna has many incarnations, and Bali Maharaj was ruling the whole universe. And basically, the short story gives is that he had kicked out a lot of CEOs from their posts, and he was holding on to their companies. And the CEOs went and complained to the President of the United States, saying that this guy is going. So in that, something like that happened, and then the demigods complained to Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu, he said, "I will give you your kingdoms back." So Lord Vishnu assumed the form of a small Brahmana boy, beautiful, effulgent, having like boyish charms and beautiful lotus eyes, perfect skin. He had shaved shikha, he had a kaupin, and just imagine. He walked to Bali Maharaj, and in those days when kings saw Brahmanas, they would ask him for what they can offer. And Vamana said, I want 3 paces of land, which means whatever my small steps, 1, 2, and 3 paces of land. And then Bali Maharaj was like, you're a small child. It's like, okay, forget Vamana, who is Elon Musk? You go and tell Elon Musk, I ask, what do you want? I need $2. I need to have some milk, coffee, or whatever. Like, $2? Came all the way to ask me $2? You've been waiting for 1 year, trying to get to my secretary to come to me and say $2. What's wrong with you? I can give you much more. And Bali was like that. You're a small boy, you don't know what you want. And then Vamana actually said this. If a man is not content with what he has, he can get the entire universe and yet be dissatisfied. The entire universe, forget just this earth. So it is best because, think about it. I'll give you one more example. Hawaii, perfect example. All the family members, they are going to Hawaii. You go, you check into the hotel, and then actually I will not take your example. I'll take example of family and family B. But they are still going to Hawaii. And they go to Hawaii and they check into excited and check into 2 hotels. And then the first family A, the head of the family, he says, guys, I'm going. And the wife asks, where are you going? Well, I'm going to hardware store. The paint on the walls, I don't like it. My favorite is blue, it is yellow. So let me get some paint and move it yellow. The wife says, good idea, I'm going to furniture store. Why? The bed is horrible. I'll get my own bed. And the kids are like, our parents have lost it. And somehow it happens, they get it. And the painting on the wall, useless painting, I'll get the Monet, replica of Monet, whatever, and stick it onto the wall, and they're tongue, banging the wall. And the family next door, their friends who went, what's wrong? And they say, what are you guys doing? You are making disturbance. This is our place. And they completely forget they are in Hawaii and they came to visit the island. And they start fighting amongst each other. And the hotel management will come and say, what are you doing? This is my place. You came here to just relax, do your thing, get out. Yes or yes? When we come to this world, it's like hotel. But when you start treating the world as its own, you will have environment problems. You will not think of people who will come next. Now it's a big crisis, climate change. Because why? We thought we are just the masters of the earth, we can exploit the resources to whatever we want. And then, the next generation now it's facing climate change. Goodness gracious, for crying out loud. There's no perfect climate. The climate is so toxic. So, but Bhagavad Gita teaches us that you are just coming here for some time. Just play your part and get out. Ultimately, this is not yours. And when you become that, when you spiritually advance, then you will become free of this bondage of material existence. Otherwise, it is, as Shankaracharya says, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam, ya samsare bahudushtare, kripaya pare. This is the fact of it. So, just by reading Bhagavad Gita and understanding the concept of soul, integrity is almost taken care of. Just like you go to the hotel, you will not say, okay, this is mine, I'll take it, this is mine, I'll take it, okay, fridge, let's put it wrapped up in this one. No, you say this belongs to the hotel, and I will not, I'm just a guest. So same way you do treat this earth and treat this world. So it's so important. Any questions, any comments?
Only one comment.
Yes, sir.
For the bad karma, I'm talking about karma.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you do something which people don't think, what you are not aware of doing bad. It's very common to do something, and which is sound like something is very common for them, but then it is bad, basically. So it's bad at that time. They forget it and they're gone. But I would say that there is circle of life. Bad karma will always come back in some or other form. So if it's common, you do everything bad every day, which is part of your life, it will eventually come back. When you're strong, young, you do every day that stuff, you don't know even, but when you get old, age progresses, it will definitely come back. So it's and then we always do it. Myself, I will do something wrong every day, which will be like driving something and doing something. But yes, that's what I believe in, that bad karma, good karma, if it comes back, it's always good. But bad will definitely come back in some or other form in the life.
Thank you. Thank you. And spirituality means to get rid of both good and bad karma.
I was thinking about the Brahma Samhita house. Yes. Can you speak about it? Yeah.
Okay.
Because we are talking about karma, right? Yeah.
All right, we'll all chant that verse. Can you project it, please? Thank you for coming. Where is your transcendental family? I know one family is in, one part is in
Yes.
I said transcendental because his wife's name is Divya. So. All right, that is 37. That's 34. No, yeah. We'll all chant this beautiful verse together. Burn, please type Control F, burn. Next. Enter button.
554.
If you go up to the. This is a beautiful verse from Brahma Samhita. Kindly repeat after me. Yastvindra gopa matavendra maho svakarma.
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 Bandhanurupa falabhajanamatanoti.
Bandhanurupa falabhajanamatanoti.
Karmani च भक्तिभाजम्
कर्माणि निर्दहति किन्तु च भक्तिभाजाम्
गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि
गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि.
Translation.
I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who burns up to their roots all fruitive activities of those who are imbued with devotion and impartially ordains for each the due enjoyment of the fruits of one's activities. Of all those who walk in paths of work in accordance with the chain of their previously performed works, no less in the case of the tiny insect that bears the name of Indra Gopa than in that of Indra, the king of the Devas.
Karma is relative. I'll tell a small story. Is that okay?
Yes.
Because what seems good is, because good and bad is relative. So there was a farmer in China. He was a very stoic person. He had a horse, and that horse went into the forest. And somehow it got 5 more horses back. And the villagers were like, oh, nice! You had 1 horse, now you have 5 horses, how wonderful is that? And the farmer said, okay, whatever happens, it's okay, no problem. And then the farmer had his son, and the horses were wild because they came from the forest, and they have to domesticate the horses. So he's trying to domesticate it, and one of the horses actually just threw the son back to the ground, and he broke his leg. And the village is like, look at you, poor. Why did you even get the horses? It's such a bad thing that you got the horses. If you didn't have the horse, your son would have not had this, breakage of leg. It's a pretty serious accident. He's in cast for 6 months. What a useless stuff. What a bad thing happened to you. And then there was a war. And the king's soldiers, they started coming in and collecting the youth from his village. So that we need to fight, like Russia, Ukraine, collect people from jails wherever and push them to the war. They all came to round up. And then, the villagers, their sons were taken. And then this son, his leg was broken. Like, okay, no, we can't take him. And the villagers go, oh, nice, and look at us, we also. So the farmer's like, so you can see the good and bad is something, the time, at that time you perceive something to be horrible, but over a period of time, it turns out to be something different. So this is good and bad karma that goes on for the world, and it is mentioned that one who does bhakti to Krishna, both the good and bad are destroyed. For those who want to walk on the path of karma, your good and bad will remain as it is. Krishna, as I said, if you have done bad, you will get bad. If you have done good, you will get good. And you can't escape it, no matter what, whichever planet you go. But he says, those who do bhakti to me, I burn up all their karma. So that is the goal of yoga, to burn up one's karma. Because the karma is what binds you to this world. Because you have karma, you need to take bodies to burn up that karma. And in the ignorance, you think I'm doing it, I'm suffering, I'm enjoying, and that's how life goes on. Stop here. Sure, I get bad karma in terms of everybody must be hungry. No, not like that. But so we'll have Kirtan for 5 minutes. And then, is that okay? Any final questions, comments, concerns?
Jivatma is taking curb with him. Because in his further life, whatever you do, you will take Jivatma. The body will be here, destroyed. But the Jivatma will take all the karma with you, and the next birth you will suffer that. Why? That's why you are not Bill Gates.
So true.
प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, early today, this evening, or staying here and coming from Michigan, wherever. And thanks to our hosts, Nico and Somika, for opening the doors of their home and their heart. And hope to see you soon. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Now is the challenge.
Jai Srivas Prabhu ki Jai.